You are a Spanish teacher.
Yes.
You're not making a couple $1 million a year.
No.
Okay. You've taken this account from a couple $100,000 to a couple $1 million, and it's essentially all through trading.
Yeah.
That's impressive. What's your go-to strategy?
I got to test it. I got to do it.
How do you scale?
I got to just see what happens.
How many different positions do you have on at once?
Ooh.
What you did is very difficult to do. Now what?
Now I think
Oh, I see. Okay. Welcome, everybody, and it's time for another episode of Rising Star. Ross, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Welcome to Chicago.
Thanks. Good to be here.
You are kind of, you live in the middle of nowhere.
Kind of, yeah. I like it there. Yeah,
Yeah.
small town USA.
Small town USA. Yeah, that's what I like about this story. It's, you are a Spanish teacher.
Yes.
Well, you were a Spanish teacher.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
a long time.
Yep. Slowly evolving out of that.
Why Spanish?
Actually, I was a history and biology teacher, but then they found out I spoke Spanish. And they can find history teachers anywhere, but said, you just
How do you speak Spanish?
My wife's from Costa Rica, so
Oh, so you learned to,
I was
okay. So you're
Yeah.
forced to learn.
forced to learn. I had a good teacher.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. I had good motivation.
Got it. Perfect. Now that all makes sense. So, and you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. We got married in Costa Rica in 93, I think.
You better get this right.
Yeah.
Hey, don't mess this up.
Yeah.
Okay. You got married in Costa Rica in 93, and she teaches Spanish, you teach Spanish, or taught Spanish, also just giving some background so everybody kind of knows. So take me through kind of your financial, like, just the challenges. I mean, I know, I have no idea what a teacher makes at a prep school, things like that. I don't really, it's not part of the story, but it's, you're not making a couple $1 million a year.
No.
Okay.
No.
And so, so you guys are grinding. You
Yeah.
and your wife, you're just basically,
Yep.
You're working your butts off, and you're, doing things you love, and it's probably a good life in upstate, New Hampshire.
Yeah. Good place to raise kids and dogs.
I don't know what your history in finance is. I don't know kind of what got you engaged in financial markets, stock markets.
Zero. I've never taken a finance math course or
Okay.
any of that. It was my dad saying, I don't have any money to give you. If you want some, you better figure out how to get it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things
and then-
you
and
could
then-
have. You could
Sure. Could have not.
You could have run drugs. You could have robbed banks. I mean, what?
And then him encouraging me, as soon as we were married, to say, hey, put some money in a mutual fund,
Okay.
and encouraging me this basically the passive long.
So what did your dad do?
He's a pipe fitter, installed sprinkler systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And he didn't start until his 40s maybe. So he was figuring it out later in life, going, oh shoot, if I want to retire, I need to start saving some money, and not just saving it, because you're not going to build wealth by saving,
Sure.
but investing it.
Sure. So you did what at first? You started buying a mutual fund?
At the school I was at, their retirement account, you open these 401ks and they give you funds to choose from.
A box to check.
Yep.
Who-
Check 4 boxes.
Sure.
And when I got the prospectus, I guess at the end of the year, I looked at the top 10 holdings, and they were virtually the same in 4 different things. So I thought, why not just buy these things? Things like Home Depot, Microsoft are in there.
Sure.
So I started, my little bit I could save each month is what I would buy a share and another share, or that.
How much money could you save each month?
Maybe $50.
$50.
Oh yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're
$50.
you're not a lot. Not a lot.
So you're literally buying one or two.
Yeah, one person working, kid, and
Yeah. You have to.
trying to get a life going.
Yeah. So, but you're literally doing this one share at a time.
Yeah, 1 or 2 shares, and of course the fees at that time, where you're paying $10 or $20 to buy your share.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the 90s, we still charged commissions.
Yeah.
With a minimum ticket charge.
Yeah.
So you weren't gifted a few $100 million.
No. And
Okay.
then .com wipes a lot of that out.
Sure.
Start again.
Well, the early 2000s was tough on any portfolio.
Yep.
But you hung in there.
Yeah, hung in there.
And then, so what happens, like, let's say 25 years ago, 2000 to 2000 and through the financial crisis of 2009.
Yeah.
You don't get disillusioned?
No, I just hung in there, just putting it in, and not really looking at the passive long thing. But
So
it was
true passive long.
true passive long. I know taking some interest in the stocks, but
How'd you pick stocks?
there was no system there. It's whatever caught my interest or what I thought was, I had the idea. I thought I knew something.
Were you doing it yourself on a
Was
self-directed platform?
100% myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those platforms were, they were pretty basic, right?
Yeah. They were very basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're working your way through the entire process. I mean, 2008, 2009, survived?
Survive, but this just, you're passive along. What can you do? You take
Right.
your beating and keep on going.
And you kept doing the same thing through.
Yeah. Until I don't remember the year, 2016 maybe, or 17, somebody on one message board somewhere says, "Hey, check out this Tasty Trade." And I don't remember if it was Dr. Jim then, but he's the one I found anyway when I first came
Okay.
there and watched the words.
So you found a Dr. Jin doing Where Do I Start?
Yeah, with Brittany. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
And just walked me through. And it was the opposite. Like, I'd heard about options before, but
Mhm.
the only idea you had was, oh, you buy this thing and hopefully it turns into something. And that was the opposite side of
So you really knew nothing about options.
no.
And you sit there, you have a passive long portfolio. At the time, how much was your portfolio worth?
Maybe 500K.
500K. I mean, you're doing it $50 at a time for
Yeah.
20 some odd years.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I was feeling good about it. I was
Yeah.
feeling very good about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in itself, that's impressive.
The snowball was growing and I was feeling like, oh, it's starting to grow here. Now it's starting to build,
Okay.
build.
So when you're watching Dr. Jim and Britt and you're sitting there and you're saying, well, this looks kind of interesting. Were you thinking about it as like a cost, like a basis improvement type of potential, or were you thinking of it as an opening trade?
I was thinking of it as both. Like, this is if I want to be cautious, this lets me reduce my cost basis to start with and see what happens. That kind of selling the put
Sure.
thing that you can start with, and that's a good way to start people on what you want to do. Well, the price is 100. You could sell a put at 90, and then you get paid if it doesn't do anything, and if it comes down, well, then you get your shares cheaper. So that kind of selling point was very interesting to me. Who was thinking buy low, sell high.
Or were you going to sell calls against your existing portfolio?
That was later. But it definitely started with the selling puts.
Okay. Keep going. So now 2017.
I got my accounts over to Tasty Trade, Tasty Works at the time.
Yeah. We opened in 2017.
So I must have been pretty early then.
Okay.
And yeah, I got my accounts over there, and then I started trading against the positions that I have. So I've got some stocks there. There's 100 shares. Why are we not reducing cost basis and selling covered calls? If I've got a position that I like and I'm thinking about selling puts, but I'm not too sure, maybe ratio spreads then, and I start expanding into jade lizards. And
So hold on. So at that point, 2017, 2018, you're starting kind of like a core portfolio of, or a bunch of different strategies you're testing the waters with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You tried everything.
I tried everything. Yeah.
Defined risk, undefined risk.
Defined risk, mostly defined to start with, and even if it was undefined, it was a put that in my mind was cash secured, even if it wasn't really cash secured.
Got it. How much time did you spend doing this?
Well, whenever I could, which was between classes and things. So, maybe an hour or two total a day.
Okay.
That'd be on the high side because you're just busy as a teacher.
Anybody think you're crazy?
Yeah, there's a couple people who are into investing where I am, but as soon as you talk about
Derivatives?
they just
See the loss.
a little bit. I've just scalped them just to test the waters, and then they're like, geez, this is really big. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing this.
No option contracts in the futures?
Yeah, I've done that, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've really done, I mean, I'm not going to fast forward.
I got to try
years,
everything.
but you tried everything.
I've tried everything.
You basically tried every
Yeah.
product, every strategy,
Yep.
everything.
And you find out quickly some I don't really like, and others you just kind of gravitate to, going, this is good.
So as you were starting to figure out strategic trading, what kind of products did you like?
Well, I was, originally picking stocks, so I was going with my original assumptions and
Okay.
opinions and saying, well, I like this thing, so I can now reduce cost basis in it, or do some other trades around that position to maybe expand it if the price comes down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going with those, but then I'd expand into the ETFs and SPY um, and gold and GDXJ and all the different ones, all the little ETFs that are pretty liquid in the.
All the underlyings that you never thought you needed to know.
No, why?
No.
Yeah, why? Yeah,
Yeah.
I never would have traded GDXJ, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So So then how did you start to incorporate all these different strategies? The same approach, like I'm going to try all these different stocks, but now I'm going to try all these different strategies.
Yeah, yeah. Some would be on what I'd hear here on Tasty Live is you talk somebody talking about, oh, the broken wing butterfly. I'm like, what is that? Wait a minute. How can I take this this ratio spread and define it? Or how are they doing a long and a short spread together? I got to test it. I got to do it. I got to just see what happens.
So what strategies did you ultimately gravitate to? Like what worked the best? What did you feel the most comfortable with?
I, I love jade lizards. I love short puts. I love covered calls, covered strangles even, to kind of do everything. Yeah, and ratio spreads a lot. Put ratio spreads or broken wing butterflies in bigger puts.
Those are all relatively high probability trades.
Yeah,
Did the probability aspect of this was that a big part of it? Did it come into play for you?
it does. I like to. I want to win. Like, any day you can say how's it going. Even if I'm winning 90% of the trades, that 10% is in my mind. Like, that sucker's.
So on a daily basis, what do you watch? Are you watching your P&L? I mean, what do you watch?
Yeah, I'm watching. Well,
You
that's the
watch
primary.
individual P&Ls?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Individual. I mean, the overall is where I'll start, but then it's individual.
How many different positions do you have on at once?
Ooh, maybe average of 50.
Oh, so you have a lot of positions.
Yeah,
A lot of positions, 50 positions, a lot of positions all over the place.
yeah.
You have any problem watching 50 different positions?
When I'm busy, yeah. But now I have a little more time in the summer when I'm not working. It's a lot easier.
The exciting thing here is you're basically able to, you called it semi-retirement,
Yeah,
which is means you work part-time still.
it's freedom. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do what I want to do.
Right. So semi-retirement, and you've turned, a $500,000 portfolio into a couple of $1,000,000.
Yeah.
And it's essentially all through trading.
Yeah,
And so what you've done is you've essentially used the world of strategic investing. And by the way, since 2017, there was a down move in 18, there was a down move in 20, the pandemic.
Yep.
There was a down move in 2022, and there was a down move in, recently.
Yep.
So I've had like 4 or 5 down moves,
Yep.
pretty significant. I mean, the market's higher, obviously, but you've navigated all those down moves, and you also, increased your account fold, almost 4x.
yeah. Only one of those was my net lick down,
Which one was that?
22, I think.
On
But
the
I still was able.
prolonged sell-on.
Yeah, but I still was able to generate a good return with the trading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been able to generate. We we backed into it, but it looks like you've basically been able to generate about 20% a year over the last half a decade, let's say, and that's really impressive because that's, I didn't find any of those years essentially easy. I mean, some were a little easier than others, but I didn't find anything easy the last 5 years.
Right. Especially as the past couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the last couple of weeks. I definitely didn't find that easy. That's pretty damn impressive. You know, you're not really an amateur.
It feels pretty good to do, but sometimes you don't know because you're in a vacuum. It's not like you guys have a whole floor of people and everybody's kind of doing the
I
same.
used to think that was helpful, but maybe it's not.
I don't know.
Maybe I should be locked in a room somewhere in
Yeah.
in central New Hampshire.
Yeah.
It is fascinating though, isn't it, that there's this stuff out there that 99.9% of people have never heard of.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's strategic. It's challenging. Do you find it what's the most challenging part? The economics of it, the math part, what's the most challenging part?
I think that right now it's that it's bigger and I've got more things to do.
Yeah.
And I've got to start to compartmentalize, have the sort of a defense category and then the offense category. And, I've got to keep it more compartmentalized so that I know given what happened the past couple weeks, I'll live to fight again another day, no matter what.
How did the last couple of weeks, like, what did you do right?
Well, if we had been sitting here 2 weeks ago and you'd asked me what my biggest struggle was, it would have been, I don't trade big enough. I still will start with one lot and then decide what to do after that. Now, I'm pretty happy that I traded that size.
The best defense is to stay small enough yet you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It looks like that's what saved you.
Yeah, staying small is really important.
You know, it's so, people used to say to me, it's so overrated. Okay. And I'm like, when we have the right kind of move, when we have that nasty move, you're never gonna say it's overrated, because a one lot can be,
Yeah.
can cost you some money.
I survived COVID and I survived
Oh,
this.
yeah.
And yeah, I had some things to do. Some positions got run over, but others did okay.
Did you put new positions on during this move?
A very few, yeah.
Very good.
Thursday I did on that down move, a couple. Friday was at a funeral and couldn't, and obviously those got run over. But
How many you went from 89 trades in 2016 to over 1,000 trades in 2019.
yeah,
How many trades do you make now?
I'm about 1,000. Yeah, I'm trading every day, a little bit. I
Okay,
try to do something every day.
4 or 5 trades a day.
Yeah,
Okay. That's
Yeah.
very active.
but I'm slow to roll. I'm slow to respond to things. I don't like the whiplash.
Is that intentional?
So yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you manage things on an individual one-off basis, or are you managing the total position?
a little of both. Basically a one-off. How's this doing? How's that doing? But like in these big moves, all right, time to get rid of some things and package some buying power together so we can do something else.
So who do you talk to?
Huh. You guys, I listen to you guys all the time.
What do you do? Talk to the spirit?
I basically, yeah, or my wife is a sounding board, but she's not really interested in what's going on. You're great just to be able to say things out loud. Oh yeah,
So she thinks she like
yeah.
watching you guys.
Where's the money? I want the cash on the kitchen table. That's how I
It's
just
like, who are these? Who are these guys?
Yeah.
Um, but you don't have too many friends that trade, or
My brother-in-law's trading now.
he's trading off Tasty, or he's just trading?
He's trading off Tasty. Yeah,
It's great.
yeah. He started paying attention to what I was doing and wanted to know some more. And
Want to learn.
yeah, so he follows you guys now.
I love it. Now what?
Trading wise,
Yeah. Now what?
yeah. Now I think I compartmentalize and pull a bit of a chunk to be defensive. I think Tony from Mexico was on a few days ago or a week ago, and he talked about different components of his team. He needs to have a good defense. He needs to have an offense.
I missed that segment, but
Yeah.
I can go back and watch it.
Yeah, he had some short spy puts the day before the things really crashed. So, but I think that's what I need to do, because I think I can trade bigger. I do want to trade. I don't want to keep trading. I definitely want to keep trading, but I want to package some chunk.
Of course, you're going to keep trading. Do you ever see a time when you're not going to trade?
No.
No, because this is what you do now,
This is what I do. Yeah,
and you can do this till you're 100.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's no. Yeah.
It's very fun to have your finger on the pulse there, and you know what's going on in the markets. You see volatility moving and different things, and
How come you guys aren't teaching this to your students?
I would love to. I taught one course. They called it Finance 2 because Finance 1 is real, like balancing a checkbook.
Stuff. Yeah. You can't.
And then when I went to Spain the following year, they didn't have anybody who could teach it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I gave them all the stuff, but
Would you want to teach that?
it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, to have kids that are interested in this,
Yeah.
and it's what if I wish I knew then what I knew now.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
So, do you think you've done so well because strategically you've done well, or do you think you've done well because you've picked good stocks?
No, consistency is king. Consistency is king here. It means I gotta keep going. The math will play out, right? That's really is. I like to think I can pick good stocks sometimes, but I can't. And that's what's gotten me when I've had problems.
Yeah.
They've all been times when I thought I knew something. So it's consistency is king. Keep doing this. Keep at it. And it plays out over time, and you see the dollars coming in and the returns coming in.
There is when you get to a certain level, like, and you're getting there with the amount of capital you have, it gets a little more difficult to make the same kind of returns.
Yes.
Because, it's easier to make,
Yes.
50% on $10 it is to make it on $1,000.
Yes. I've noticed that.
So, so how do you scale?
I think I probably won't for a little bit, but then I will slowly scale. So I'm like when I was starting out, and you had a stock that would do well. I sell 50%, and then you're playing with the house money. So I'm thinking I will move some profits to the defensive side of things to sort of guarantee our quality of life and what we're doing and our plans for the future, and then keep 50% of whatever winnings and slowly scale up. So I won't scale. I'll scale up half the speed that I would if I were 35.
So
And
what do you tell your son?
So we do talk about investing.
Yeah. What does he say?
He's interested, but he's more cautious. He's just buying things right now. Well, I've got something to buy this, but I tell him about, well, you're in this position. Hey, if you have the stock that's gone down, you could sell calls against it. You have the stock you're interested in, you're waiting for it to come down. You could sell a put spread and see what happens there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And does he listen?
He's listening a little bit.
A little bit.
Listening a
Okay,
little bit.
that's a good start.
He's
That's a
got
good start. So growing from, you've taken this account from a couple $100,000 to a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
Now what? Like, I kind of asked this before, but I'm really curious. It's like, because I personally find this is the most difficult.
Yes.
When you get to a couple $1 million, trying to scale that up to the next level is very challenging in a world of active trading.
Yeah. It definitely opens up the products that I couldn't consider before.
That it does. It opens up strategies and expensive indexes, things like that. But the reality is still nothing's easy. Dollars at risk is still the same thing.
Right. I like the idea of the zero TTs that they trade sometimes. I've traded a little bit of them. But I think that's more, like you say, an engagement tool than
definitely an engagement tool.
It's not a core position, but it's something to do to stay involved and to see what's going on.
What's your go-to strategy in this current environment?
I'm pretty bullish. I've got the long bias overall in the market, and that's so
you always have a long bias?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I pretty much have that. And it may just shift from, well, it's not so much in this sector or that sector, but I like positive drift. I like to be in the boat on those things. So Jade Lizard is a good thing, or covered strangle if I've already got shares. I burnt on naked calls a few times, so that's got me cautious on those. So I love covered strangles where I'm
like, give me an example of a covered strangle. Like, you buy a stock and then you sell what delta, call and put?
If just starting out, 15 or 20 is good. And
on both sides.
On both sides, and that would give me room to be able to roll up if it slowly comes up. And I have a couple of those that I've been running for a long. It's a base hit. It's not a grand slam.
No.
But it is just going.
How much capital do you commit to each trade?
I start small, so maybe 1%, but maybe it can grow from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So you kept your size really small.
Yeah.
And how much capital do you use of your total capital?
For trading only, maybe 30%. I'd have to go and look exactly, maybe 30%. There's some big core stock positions that I will trade against those things, but I'm not really calling them part of my.
What's a core stock position like?
Like I've got Visa.
Okay.
And I love to sell calls against Visa. And
it's a little illiquid, but I guess you.
But if I've done it, I think I'm in the 40s for how many calls I've rolled against that. And
yeah.
So if it blows through the calls tomorrow, I will have made money more than if I just held the stock.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you trade mostly liquid underlyings, or do you also trade?
No, I have some illiquid junk too, which some of those have been losers.
Yeah.
I do like to hold some of those in my portfolio just to look at it and go like, don't do that again. That was a bad idea.
I got a lot of those.
Yeah.
I got like a lifetime of those for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you do in the overall portfolio, how much of your portfolio is like kind of your core positions?
Maybe a third again.
God, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
When I think of kind of like where you've come from to where you are today trading wise, what could you incorporate into your trading that will give you kind of more vehicles to use? Like, is it futures options? Is it
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I think so. I've tested everything. I found that I really like puts, covered calls, jade lizards, that type
yeah,
of stuff. But there's others that I know I've done and just haven't really gotten deep into using them regularly and trading them a lot. And it's futures options. Um, that's definitely the next layer that I'll explore more.
what's the key? Was it like commitment? Like, well, was it your discipline? There's something.
Yeah.
What you did is very difficult to do. Like, not that many people are able to do it. Why you?
I don't know why me, but I think consistency is king here. You've got to keep at it. But most
Is
people
that
looking
just
for
because of your discipline?
um the things I've been successful at, that's what I've done. It's a small step today, another small step. Just be better today than you were yesterday. Tomorrow, all you gotta do is be better than yourself today. And if I can't compare myself to
Yeah, but the problem with the markets is you can be as great as you want, but sometimes the markets just don't cooperate.
right, right,
You need cooperation from the other side as well.
you do. But I think so. For me, it's the smaller, higher percentage over time, the base hits over time than the people going for the home runs.
Sure.
That temptation is if I buy that 5 delta call and it goes up, the money I'm going to make, that temptation is huge. The lottery tickets.
Yeah.
Right. But what if you're selling those lottery tickets? And if you're just getting consistent over time, not the lottery ticket is probably not a great analogy because I don't want to, when I get the pennies in front of a steamroller,
No, right.
um, but I want that consistency, those base hits over time. Just keep going, just keep grinding it out, and don't rely on luck. That what was the title of Julia's book
The
there?
unlucky investor.
Yeah, that's it. You don't want to be lucky. I mean, you want the luck, but luck will teach you the wrong lessons,
You
and you won't
need
be consistent.
in any business or any trading or whatever, you need a little help.
Yep.
Like, I mean, something's got to break your way.
Yes. You
Like
do.
that's just the nature of success. Something has to break your way. But the rest of it that you control, when you have, when you make that all work, that's on you. You own that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like I'll I'll end it on this. Do you feel at this point that you own your success?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I like to think so.
I think so.
I like to think so, but I'm not sure. I know I haven't been lucky. I've just been disciplined and
I mean, personally, I think you sound like you own your success. I think the whole key for me when traders get to a certain point is you have to own your own success, you have to own your own failures.
it's definitely had some failures.
Yeah, well, we all do, but it's like, but a lot of people think it's on somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, and when you finally own both sides of it, that's kind of when you get successful.
Yeah. It's been good. It's been really good. It's not just setting up the trade, it's to manage. What do you do from here on in?
Yeah.
You got it. It's hanging out there. And now how do you handle this thing? Um,
Well,
yeah.
that was awesome, Ross. That was a really good story. I mean, it's kind of like it's the it's a played out success story. It's really cool.
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
It's been great to be here and see everything live.
Thanks.
Yeah.